So we are back for problem 4. So it's gonna be oh Jesus. So it's like right now it's 4 out of 35. Still have a long way to go. Jesus Christ! So right now it's like 3:50 in the morning. Am I gonna be able to get everything done and actually go and take a nap before I go back to work at 4? I ain't got no idea, but I just know that I'm gonna keep going. So yeah, the problem that we actually have right now is a simple inequality, which is v that we have to solve. They didn't ask us to craft it, but they just tell us to simplify the answer as much as possible. So we're gonna get into it. 4v negative 13 is less than or equal to 2v negative 5. So let's do it. 4v negative 13 is less than or equal to 2v negative 5. So your first, how do I say that? Not your first intention, but your first step actually right now is to group everything together. So if you see something kind of like looks alike, so just put everything together. So the reason why I'm saying look alike, but not actually saying like put all the v's together or maybe all the a's together, just because those are what we call variables. So they will be able to change. So those value will not be fixed. So they can use v, they can use x, they can use a, they can use b, they can use like whatever they want. So it will not forever like will stay 4v or 3v. So we might have another problem and they might change it to x or a or b. So it's not always gonna be v. So that's what I wanted to say. So yeah, group everything together. If they look alike, just group them together and compute it and so get the solution. So first step is I'm gonna write them down. So first step, group terms together. Did I do it? Nobody cares about that. So 4v, and so we have 4v and 2v has term that actually look alike. So we're gonna group them together, 4v and the 2v, negative 2. So why did I put negative 2v? The reason why I put negative 2v is each time that one terms will go like from the left to the right or from the right to the left, so the sign will actually flip or change. So if it was like negative 5, so if you flip it or change the side or put it like one side to the other one, like left to right, so it will actually change. Right to left, so it will actually change. So it's if it's negative, so it's gonna be positive, and if it's positive, it's gonna be negative. So on the first, on the inequality that we have right now, so the v was on the right and the right was positive. So therefore, if the v is gonna go on the left, so the sign should actually change. The sign will change. The sign of the term will change, but not the sign of the inequality. The sign of the inequality will change, but under different conditions, but not those conditions. So we have 4v and 2v. So we flip the sign because it goes from one side to the other one. And still have the less than or equal to. We're still gonna keep our negative 5, and we're gonna get the negative 13. The negative 13 won't be negative 13 on the other side because it would go from one side to the other one, so actually change to positive 13. We're gonna compute everything together. So negative 4v minus 2v is the same thing as 4v minus 2v. So the term are the same, so we'll just compute the numbers. So it's gonna be 2v. Keep our sign and compute that as well. So negative 5 plus 13 is actually 8. The reason why it's 8, not negative 8, is when we are doing addition and subtraction, the sign that will be kept is the sign of the sign that will be kept. Okay. The sign that you will keep is the sign of the greater number. So the greater number right now is the 13, which is positive 13. So we're gonna keep the sign, which is 8, and then you have it. So the first step has been completed. So you have moved the term and then you compute it. move the term and compute numbers. So our first step has been completed. So right now the second step is to actually find the v. And how are you gonna find the v? So we're gonna divide each section of the inequality by the term that the v has. Can I say that? That the v has, or like you're gonna try to find a number once we'll divide, so we'll get the v by itself without any numbers. So, and this number actually in our case is 2, because if you divide like the 2v by 2, so you won't get any numbers in front of the v, so you will get the v by itself. And if you divide one section of the inequality by a number, so you have to do the same for the other section too, because we also need to keep the inequality true sense, if we can say that. So we're going to divide by 2, because we want to get the v by itself. And one of the rules of the inequality when you're dealing with inequality is when you divide by positive numbers, so the middle sign, which is the sign of the inequality, won't change. So you will not change the sign by any means. Listen to me, you're not going to change the sign because it's a positive number. So you're just going to keep the signs this way. So I'm going to take out the period that I have here. So yeah, don't flip the sign. So I divide it by 2 so that you can get the v by itself. Cancel out the 2, you have the v by itself. And 8 divided by 2 is actually 4. And there you have it, the solution. The solution is 4. Ta-da! I know it was not complicated, but there is like some stuff that you actually need to know before per actually doing everything. So you have the inequality, right? I'm just gonna try to summarize everything real quick. You have the inequality, so you look at the term and you group everything together, like the term that I like, so you group them together, and then you compute the numbers. So once you compute the numbers and you ain't got anything more to compute, so you just try to get the variable by itself. So divide the variable by a number that once you will divide the variable, so we'll only have the variable by itself, so without any numbers. So in our case it was 2v, so we just divided by 2. And if you divide one section of the inequality by a number, so we'll also have to do it for the other section. That's the rule. So we also did it for the other section, which is the 8. So we divided 8 by 2. So that's how we ended up with the v less than or equal to 4. And that's the final solution. I'm just gonna graph it, even if they didn't ask me to graph it, so that you guys are comfortable with graphing, because I do know the first test is pretty much like all about graphing and stuff. So if you want to graph that, it's pretty simple. You have your number line and 0. You go from negative infinity to the left, positive infinity to the right, and in number 4, which is positive. So 4 is actually included in the solution, and the way that you know it is by looking at the sign that you have, which is less than or equal to. And when they say equal to, so 4 is included, and when 4 is included, so you're going to use brackets. How you're going to use the brackets, that's a little logic that you're going to do. So pick any number from the number line. If the number verified, so that's where you're going to make your brackets open to. But if they don't verify it, that's where the bracket will close. If we, for example, we choose 5, that's a simple test. I'm not saying that 5 is the solution. 5 can be the solution. 5 is greater than 4, therefore the inequality can be verified. It's not only because 5 is greater than 4. It's because 5 is greater than 4, which is false. Which is true, my bad. And 5 is not equal to 4. So in no way that the inequality can be verified. But if you do take negative 2, for example, as the solution, as the number in the number line, not as the solution, negative 2, the inequality will actually be able to verify, because negative 2 is less than 4, positive 4. The 4, so our inequality will open towards the negative numbers, which is to the left. And there you have it, the solution. If for example they said write it on using the interval notation, so it's pretty easy to do. So the way that you're gonna do that is by taking a look to your graph. So where is your graph going? Your graph is going toward the negative infinity. So therefore, you're gonna write negative infinity. You start it at 4. Parenthesis always on infinities. Brackets because 4 is included. So there you have it. That's the interval notation. Yeah. If, for example, they ask you to write it using symbol notation, it's also something easy to do. So we'll just put your brackets, x, or, and you copy and paste like the exact inequality that you have. V less than or equal to 4. And that's symbol notation. I know it was a little bit not complicated. I don't want to say complicated so that I can scale y'all, but it just need a little work. But even if they didn't ask me to graph it or do all that, but I just wanted to do it so that you guys get comfortable with it if you're not comfortable with it, because I do know the exam gonna be all about it. So yeah, that's why I did it. But the thing that they ask us to do is pretty much like solve the inequality and then simplify the answer. So the graph, the separate notation and interval notation are not needed for the exercise. So you guys don't have to really worry about it. But I just did it so that I can explain y'all and make it way much more clear for the people who were not comfortable yet with the graphing and everything. So that's why I did it. So let's go to problem 5. And it's 4 in the morning actually.